Hello, I'm Casey.
And I'm Mackenzie,
And this is Field Notes from the Unknown,
a podcast about your favorite local cryptid. Let me see them cat ears. Give me them good cat ears.
He's biting me, so he's gonna get kicked off soon.
So cute. He just wants to eat you because you're delicious.
Ouch. He hurts. His teeth hurt.
Marv, no bite. No bite.
Yeah.
How are you, Casey?
I'm good. Ouch. I would never strike a cat.
You might strike a beast in this week's episode of our Bigfoot series.
I might strike a beast in this week's episode. Just sit down, would you?
Actually, it's funny. You know, a fist is sort of... It's actually a good intro into the opening scene for this episode. So, I mean, do you want to get started?
A fist? Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. So, let's set the scene. Casey, you are a worn-out young mother of two teensy children. One of them is still a baby. One of them is a toddler. And you are living in the town of Fouke, Arkansas.
Okay.
You're married. Your husband is out on the night shift where he works with his brother. It has been a long-ass day, and you're just really, really tired. Not to mention, you've been being kept up at night for the past week or so by the sound of something big moving through all of the plants around your modest log cabin out in the countryside. So, before you know it, you're on the couch watching the news when suddenly you start to fall asleep. And you fall asleep until you are startled awake because you've just been grabbed. And when you turn over your head, weird, did I just freeze?
No, mine just stopped. Like everything
Weird.
just stopped. Okay,
Weird.
so
Weird, we were vibing.
I am a mother in Arkansas, 2 young children, and my husband works night shifts. And I was just about to fall asleep on the couch, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you're on the couch and your eyes are growing heavy and heavy and heavy until suddenly you stop hearing the news. Do we talk about how the fact you've been not sleeping well for the past week or so? Because there's been a large beast that you hear rumbling through the woods outside?
I hope it's a bear. It's probably just that pesky bear.
It's probably just a bear. So all of a sudden you fall asleep. You are dreaming of a tropical vacation, perhaps, when all of a sudden you are startled awake by the feeling of something grabbing you by the arm. And you wake up and you look, and what has you is not a child. It is a hairy hand that
in
has
my house
ripped through the screen window above the couch. And the hand and the arm has reached through the window and it has you. It has you in a grip. What do you do?
I try and run away. Hopefully there is a lamp somewhere that I can just strike his hand with. And then I'm going to set the house on fire after I get everybody. They're not going to be soon.
No!
They're going to be awake real quick. And I'm going to burn the house down. And I'm going to move. And I'm never going to put a couch in front of a window again. Ever.
Well, I mean, I understand that feeling, I think.
You think?
So you scream, and you use, I think it is actually a lamp. You grab the nearest object to you and you hit the arm with the object until it releases you. At that point, the kids have wandered in rubbing their eyes. Mama, what's the matter? Awake. Yeah, you grab the kids and you duck into the kitchen where there are no windows and you pick up the landline and you dial.
That's
you
even
dial
worse.
Your husband.
A kitchen with no windows?
Yeah. You dial burp, burp, burp on the little rotary dial and you call Bobby Ford, get your ass right back to this house right here, right now. For your You call your husband Bobby. And Bobby and his brother, Dan, who also
Work
Dan,
together?
yeah, they work together on the night shift. They race home. And they find you and the kids. And they hear a noise outside. And it's the predator. And they go outside and they see a creature. And that creature is 8 feet tall, on 2 legs, with hair like a bear, no snout, and glowing eyes.
What color?
And they shoot. They shoot at the creature. Because, of course they do. We're in Arkansas.
Yeah, they're gonna shoot
They're going to
first,
shoot that
talk
thing.
later.
The creature screams and runs into the brush.
What? Okay.
Yep.
Did they
Yep.
even have any idea of what it could have been before they shot? Probably not.
No. Nope. They just knew it was big and it was coming for their woman.
I guess great. Thanks for saving me and the kids.
Right.
But can you fix the window now? And we're gonna move the couch.
Right. The family spends, your family, you are Elizabeth Ford, and you and your family spend a sleepless night far from the windows and the doors, waiting until morning, where your husband Bobby and his brother Don go out to investigate, and they find no blood trail despite having hit the creature. But what they do find is 3-toed footprints.
3 toes.
Yep. And you get so scared that you eventually end up selling the property that you live on and moving in with your father-in-law back in town.
Well, it must be really bad.
Nope. Yep. So this is the real account of Elizabeth Ford and the Ford family from May 2nd of 1971 in the little town of Fouke, Arkansas. The legend that gave rise to the movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Ooh, I've honestly never watched that movie.
It is worth it. It's so 60s and 70s. It's ridiculous.
Ooh.
At one point in time, there's these little girls that are having a sleepover, but that's not what they say. They say that they're doing a bunking party.
A bunking party?
Yeah. Yep. And the whole trailer they're in gets rocked back and forth by a creature.
Ooh, that's scary.
So the Ford's encounter with the creature that comes to be known as the Beast of Boggy Creek, or the Fouke Monster, or the Swamp Stalker.
I like Swamp Stalker.
Swamp Stalker is good.
Swamp Stalker's my favorite so far.
Encounters continue. So, May 23rd in Fouke, 3 witnesses see a similar creature cross the road, across Highway 71. More people see it. Footprints are cast. The game warden, named Carl Galen, examines the prints and cannot account for any known animal that could have made them. A bounty, which, is my favorite, of specifically $1,090. Because 1,000 felt too little, but...
Yeah, but that 90 really, really gets the point across.
The deal.
Yeah.
Yep. Bounty was put out. No one ever claimed it, but yet 3 men were fined $59 apiece for, quote-unquote, filing a fraudulent monster report.
How do they know it's fraudulent? One, how do they know it's fraudulent? And, okay, let's back up. Do we have pictures of the casts?
We do. There are. You can find the Fouke Monster prints. And they look a little reptilian. People
okay,
think
that good, because that was my next question. It made me think of the lizard man, because doesn't he just have 3 fingers?
He does. But remember we talked about how a footprint cast is not the shape of the foot, but rather the shape that the foot makes when it interacts with the ground. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And people also think these were probably faked.
Okay, so when people actually see this thing, I guess you're not going to look directly at its feet. You're going to look at the thing that has glowing eyes. Okay.
No one said that it necessarily had 3 toes. No.
Okay.
No. But this is important because the Fouke Monster is probably the quintessential flagship of Bigfoot in the, we're going to call it the Mid-South.
Okay.
Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Oklahoma.
So technically it could be a Swamp Thing hybrid.
It It could be a swamp beast hybrid, or just Bigfoot.
Or Bigfoot and the Lizard Man created a child, a love
maybe they're
child.
maybe they're all aliens and they're up in the spaceship on the cosmic world order making hybrid babies. I don't know.
Ooh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. So the Fouke Monster has been seen around Fouke, Arkansas, on and off for all ever and ever and ever since those original 1971 sightings. Sightings come and go. Sometimes they pop up around the nearby towns of Russellville or Centerville, Arkansas. But it's all a similar creature, all a bipedal ape man with brown shaggy fur, low-hanging arms, and smelling of sulfur. Ironically, following along what are called the Sulphur River bottoms. So, if you have not watched The Legend of Boggy Creek, I would say, listeners, if you're at home, take a pause, and this is your time to go spend the best hour and a half of your life, and then get back to us.
Well, I know what I will be turning on the TV as soon as we end here.
It is a time. It is a time. So, Casey, did you know that there were Bigfoot in this part of the U.S.?
I think each state has a Bigfoot. He is not confined to a state or a certain area. I think Bigfoot is all over the United States. In fact, I would like someone to tell me a state that he doesn't have any sightings in.
The only one is Hawaii.
That's okay. Hawaii was what I was going to say. But I'm pretty sure there's probably like an ape-like creature that could be perhaps cousins with the Bigfoot in Hawaii.
And maybe we'll unpack that creature on a future episode.
Sounds like a wonderful idea. So I'm not crossing Hawaii completely off my Bigfoot map list.
Fair. Totally fair. So we open this up with Arkansas. Any guesses as to how many reports are active on the BFR website for Arkansas? It may surprise you.
Is it high as 5,000 or higher?
Oh, 5,000 is quite high. Remember, these are published reports. So when we were talking about New York State and Pennsylvania, we were in a couple hundred.
Let's do 75.
113 active reports.
Okay.
The most recent report was last year.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But of this region, the state that absolutely takes the cake in terms of density of reports is Texas. Any guess as to how many reports are in Texas?
200.
264.
Ooh.
Most recent
Texas
report
is huge, though.
It is. But they're clustered. They're clustered primarily in the counties of Liberty and Montgomery, which are contiguous and also make up a large portion of the Big Thicket National Preserve, which is actually a hot spot for Bigfoot-related activities.
Sounds like a trip to Big Thicket.
Yeah, we should go, because ironically, it's less than 2 hours from two major airports, which also kind of goes to show you that you're never really that far away from Bigfoot.
Surprising. I mean, okay, yeah, 2 hours is quite the distance, but still.
Yep. Yeah. So, while we're on Texas, let me go ahead and share with you a Texas encounter. One thing I love about this region is each state has a couple different, pet Bigfoot stories, and they have these really fantastic names. So our Texas story is the Howley Hymn. So, on July 7th of 1977, 15-year-old Renee Miller was out with two teen boys. The scandal.
Scandalous Renee. Two?
No, but she wasn't doing anything untoward.
That we know of.
That we know of. They were cleaning up bush, more like it.
At night?
So that a local farmer could put up an electric fence on his property for cattle. I like these stories.
Okay. Something else is going up.
All of a sudden,
allegedly,
the two boys that were several yards away from her began to run, yelling to Renee and stating that something had started throwing rocks. All 3 kids ran all the way back to Renee's mom, Mrs. Miller, who advised the group of teenagers to take up guns and then go back to see what was going on.
Oh, God. Here you go, kids. Don't run.
The armed teenagers crept carefully back to the area.
The armed teenagers is so fucking awful. Oh, no.
It's Texas.
The armed children.
Armed children crept back to the area where the rock pelting had began.
I hope there's more rock pelting.
Well, in fact, the scent of rotten eggs began rolling in, and they started to feel an overwhelming sense of dread before the stone pelting began once more.
What are you going to shoot at if you don't even see where the rocks are coming from?
Well, as the stones were thrown, Renee raised her rifle into the air and shot.
Renee, what are you shooting at?
That's when a creature stepped out of the brush towards them. They just made it angry.
Oh, yeah, great.
It was between 6 and 7 feet tall, with thick brown hair like a bear, but without any snout and no visible ears. It had a flat nose and a flat face, huge arms that hung down all the way to its knees, and broad shoulders. The teenagers fled and told their mother, who called the sheriff. And then the sheriff posted another reward for $5,000, a nice even number. Big spenders in Texas.
Yeah.
For anyone who could kill the creature.
And at this point, they still have no idea what the creature is. It's just the creature.
The creature. It was probably a Bigfoot.
Are they calling it a Bigfoot?
7 feet tall, with no visible ears, hair like a bear on 2 feet.
I don't know a lot of things. Actually,
Reptile Man. An escaped orangutan.
I feel like Lizard Man was really tall.
But he was scaly and he had he had scales.
Maybe it was cold. What are the seasons? Maybe he got a coat.
He didn't have fur on him.
He might have had a fur coat.
But, it's possible. We can't rule it out.
Lizard Man in a ghillie suit.
Sightings remain obscure. So
okay, did any of the children with guns actually hit this thing? So he came out of the woods and then they just ran?
They shot in the air. Yep, and then they ran with the guns.
Bitches.
Yep. All right. Up to our next state.
Okay.
It's time for a little Louisiana action. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, any guesses to the sighting reports out of Louisiana?
Bourbon Street.
There are 46 reports out of Louisiana. It's actually a little bit lower in both Louisiana and Mississippi, contiguous states.
Wait, did you ask me how many sightings or where they were in Louisiana?
I asked you how many, but I'm...
Okay, now I understand why you gave me that look. Because I thought you asked, where do you think? Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
Bourbon Street.
So now it makes more sense why you looked at me like I was fucking crazy. Yeah.
46.
46
is the answer.
On Bourbon Street.
On Bourbon Street, specifically. So when Bigfoot isn't drinking himself to a blitz, is that a cattail? What's going on over there?
It's a cattail.
God.
He is gonna lay down here.
All right. He'll bite you.
You can't see them, but Kit is sitting right here, and then Marv is right beside her.
That's adorable. The cats have left me for their father. It's fine. It's fine.
Traitors.
It's fine. When Bigfoot is not drinking himself, to a coma on Bourbon Street, you can find him at Honey Island Swamp.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds like a little spa.
Right? It's north of Lake Pontchartrain, up in the woods, dem der Booyer. Honey Island is located in St. Tammany Parish. It's a pretty big space, 75,000 acres, and is a protected wildlife zone, so no one can go out there and hunt.
Oh, thank God.
But there was a man called Harlan Ford, who was a retired air traffic control officer. He was super, super into amateur filmmaking, and he really liked birds, which is honestly the start to a lot of like serial killer movies. Like, he was just a normal guy, and he really liked birds and amateur
Oh,
filmmaking.
yeah, I forget the bird part. You had me on amateur filmmaking, and I'm like, okay, here's a Marv.
Hi,
We can
Marv.
both be on camera, okay?
One day, Harlan Ford was out with his of-age friend, Billy Mills. I feel like I should specify.
Why did you have to specify that? Did they
Just wanted,
specify that in the story?
just wanted to clarify for any listeners that were concerned about his amateur filmmaking and what that might imply.
Oh. Yeah. Thank you for specifying that.
You're so welcome. They were out and about when they caught sight of a creature that was 7 feet tall, bipedal, and covered in long gray hair. And once again, super duper stinky.
Ew.
Stinky boy.
Stanky.
Yep. They tracked this creature and actually came upon footprints. And these were not 3-toed, not 5-toed, but in fact
6?
4-toed. 4-toed. But again, say it with me. The shape of the track is not the shape of the foot,
the shape
it's the shape of how the foot interacts with the
soil. Yeah.
Okay. So,
yes.
all well and good. Oh, my
Ooh.
son is here.
Oh.
My son is here, and he brought this for our recording session.
How nice of him to bring you a toy.
Do you want to come on camera, Espresso? Well, we'll see. We'll see if he decides to come take the toy. But so they observed this creature and then found its footprints, and it disappeared off into the woods. They continued seeing this creature over the span of about 5 or so years. At one point, they actually caught it on film with this really, really super duper grainy class Super 8 reel footage.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's not the famous Bigfoot picture though, right?
I think you're thinking still of the not Boggy Creek, the
the still.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So, okay,
and I can't believe I'm a terrible Bigfooter to have forgotten what the fuck the name of that place in California is.
Marv, we
Also,
have
I'm
to
too
share screen time. Okay. So this is a new one.
Same creature?
Another one.
Yeah. And the Super 8, I couldn't find it, but I didn't dig that hard. And they had somewhere on YouTube. It's super grainy. It's a blob squatch.
Mm-hmm.
Also, allegedly, the pair found a boar with its throat cut in 1984, despite it being in a protected wildlife area. So that was a little bit weird, but it also could have been poachers. But
especially if it was cut. Like,
yeah.
depending on how cut. Clean cut? Saw cut?
Did not specify.
Teeth cut?
Did not specify. But
I don't
interestingly,
think I've ever heard of a, Sasquatch with a utility belt and like a switchblade, so. I've heard some pretty crazy things.
People
would
say
I
that
believe
Sasquatch
it?
wear clothes.
Possibly, yeah. I would believe it.
Yeah.
Aliens have probes, so.
They do have probes.
Why couldn't a Sasquatch have a switchblade?
Espresso, are you an alien?
Oh, Espresso. Are you an alien?
My son.
I'm gonna take that as a yes.
I think so.
He's so talkative.
He is. There's a legend. I'm not playing with them. There's a legend in the area dating back decades that the creature was in fact an escaped circus chimpanzee that fled a train crash in the 1900s and then adapted to life in the wild.
And grew like to 8 feet?
Right? Yeah, like chimpanzees don't get that tall.
Did he get into like a vat of like acid or material. Like radioactive things?
A radioactive vat of moonshine.
Something.
Yeah, and then they, its flesh melted away, and then they had to dynamite its bones. Hashtag Snallygaster forever.
Yeah, they just had to use the dynamite.
So it's probably the most famous story out of Louisiana. We've got two more states. Mississippi has a fair amount of reports. We talked about the number, 27 reports. Also, most recent one was earlier this year. So stuff happens out in
Ooh.
Mississippi. Some people hypothesize that the numbers for Louisiana and Mississippi are lower because there's more regional. People just don't talk. Like, people are labeled absolute crazy fools. And
Mm-hmm.
also, there are big pockets down there that are just more conservative, and people don't want to share those stories.
No one knows how to
But
express their feelings
yeah,
and what they
that's not a problem that Espresso
witnessed.
has. Yeah,
No,
Espresso's
Espresso
good
can
about his feelings.
easily express his feelings.
Yeah, tail.
Oh, sorry. It
Probably
just
the most famous story from Mississippi is the Fouke Monster. Um, there's not a ton of details on this one, but more or less, the stories are about a hairy hominid creature or multiple creatures, and sightings began with the nuns and school children of St. Mary of the Pines, a
nuns would
Catholic boarding
never lie
school.
to you.
That's the thing. And then the nuns said that they saw monkeys, gigantic monkeys, swinging from trees.
But also, nuns are going to try and justify it and make it sound right. Because if they're like, I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to be like,
Mhm.
yo, we're crazy. They're going to be like, here's a logical explanation.
Yeah.
So it happens in Mississippi too. So our last regional Sasquatch I want to talk about is from Oklahoma. And
Oklahoma.
where the wind goes swooping down the plains. For Oklahoma, we have a little story and then we have a little discussion. So
Okay.
strap in for this Oklahoma story.
Ooh. Okay.
By the way, any guess as to how many reports come out of Oklahoma?
150?
Close, 113.
Ooh. Okay. All
Yep.
right. All right.
So I'm going to take you to the little sleepy town of Hanobia, Oklahoma. In 2000, only 26 years ago, we were alive.
We were alive.
So meanwhile, in Oklahoma, a family chose to anonymously report their ongoing encounters with a huge 8 to 10 foot tall, hair-covered creature on two legs with a putrid stank.
Why? Why is it the stink? Not all Bigfoots have the stink.
In fact, only about 40% of Bigfoot encounters report an odor at all. It might be that in the South, they are just sweatier and more full of bacteria and natural bodily bacteria that make odors. It
It's the
could be
devil.
that some of the rivers and waterways that these animals are seen around have a higher concentration of minerals like sulfur that do cause odors. Um,
Yeah.
Hard to say, but yeah, that's very astute. Not all encounters have a scent. Um, some people think that the odors are actually hormone glands that are released whenever the
Maybe
animals
it's
are in a
just like
heightened
when they're
state.
or like
Yeah,
mating season, and they're like,
yeah,
"Oh
yeah,
yeah, the smell of
literally.
sulfur really gets me going."
Yeah, it's like a scent signaling, which other great apes do.
Well, kind of like men who hunt, and they get deer piss, which is just fucking weird.
Yeah, strange, weird. And they roll around in it. It's weird.
I don't know. It's like, ugh.
So the story of Hanobia
God forbid
began.
they report Bigfoot.
The
Sorry.
story began serenely at first, as they often do, with the family planting a bumper crop of snow peas
Ooh,
that they
okay.
planned to can for the season. The peas took off due to good rainfall and good soil, and what that did was bring a shit ton of deer to the property. But it seems that something else followed the deer,
Ah,
and it wasn't Lizard
yes.
Man. Allegedly,
Allegedly, it was not.
the encounters with the terrifying beast started with food rations being stolen off the front porch.
Why are they keeping their
Then,
food rations on the front porch?
fuck if I know. I don't know. Maybe they just, maybe the kids were gone and Papa came home with milk, and then Mama was feeling frisky, and so the milk was forgotten. I don't know.
And they
They're
probably still
anonymous.
drank it.
I'd probably whatever. They're. I don't mean to disparage any of Oklahoma visitors, but this is like the backwoods of Oklahoma. I don't know. Maybe they were smoking deer. I don't know. Maybe they
I
were like
live.
leaving deer to dry.
Okay, no,
Food
see,
was stolen.
I can see that if they butcher and they have an animal hanging, that makes more sense to me
Than the milk.
than the milk.
So we're gonna say that they were carrying deer or something. I don't
Okay,
know. Fuck if I know.
they were butchering and skinning deer.
Yep. But after that, things started escalating to the point where at night they'd be woken up by the entire goddamn log cabin rocking.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah. Throughout the night, they would be kept awake by loud howls and screams from the trees that would make their bones shake.
Hell no.
Rocks began being thrown at all hours, breaking windows, causing dents, and the windows and doors were pounded on at night by an unseen creature. Eventually, the family was so scared and also perturbed by the gross odor that permeated the area that they fled as if their lives were in danger.
So, I don't want a Bigfoot for a neighbor. Why the rock throwing? Like, I understand if it's a defense mechanism, but like if they're just throwing rocks at a house.
Yeah. It might be. Let's go on the deer angle. Let's say
or
that
like
the deer,
territorial.
yeah, maybe the deer are a primary source of nutrition. And if this family were in fact eating deer and then like, you know, cleaning the deer and whatnot near the house, and that's what was being stolen, maybe they were getting competitive over food resources.
Ah. Okay. I can get down with that.
That's an angle. Yeah. But it's an anonymous source, so, you know, details are unclear. And a lot of these sound honestly like campfire tales, right?
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with campfire tales.
Absolutely not. But you know what I love is a well-documented and well-researched campfire tale. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So what if I told you that Oklahoma is the state with probably the most robust scientific study on Sasquatch?
Ooh, I would be very surprised, actually, for some reason.
Yeah.
I have no idea what else is in Oklahoma.
Yeah. So when
Sometimes
I
I forget it's a state.
Same.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about like, I don't know, grain and like farmland, but
I only think of the scene in Euphoria where it's like, are you auditioning for Oklahoma?
yes.
Yes. They're like, what's that supposed to mean?
What does that even
Bitch,
mean?
you better be joking. Like, you look like you're going for Oklahoma. Oh, okay. Anyway, sorry. If you haven't seen Euphoria, you will not understand anything that came out of my mouth. You should watch it.
Do it. So I'm surprised to tell you that the entire western portion of Oklahoma actually has like a pretty substantial mountain range. They're called the Wichita Mountains, and they actually have a super high level of biodiversity and like a lot of prey species. They have deer. They support a small population of bears. They get tons of berries, a lot of tree producing or nut producing trees. Stop biting your mother.
I gotta be fair. I was picking on him.
Don't do that. You know what?
Mark, I was the instigator.
Bite her again.
I threw rocks.
So, the Wichita Mountains are also the site of what's known as Area X. So, not the X-Men.
I know, but I just like, I'm thinking of Chemical X, but I just like that Area X.
Yeah. So this is a research area for the North American Wood Ape Conservancy, or NAWLIC. First off, I love that they choose to call this a wood ape versus like a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot, because whenever Bigfoot is proven as a species, wood ape becomes a lot more, right? Wow, that is exactly what it is.
It's a wood ape.
So, if you want to hear more about this story, I highly recommend a book. This book is called Valley of the Apes, The Search for Sasquatch in Area X by Michael Myers. Not stabby Michael Myers from the Halloween series.
And not the Michael Myers that plays Austin Powers?
Nope. Totally different Michael.
Yep.
Nawak researcher, and I think he was also a past president as well. But they do some really phenomenal research out of the Wichita Mountains.
Mm.
Um, a couple of big highlight points out of the book. I super suggest that if you're Bigfoot curious, pick up this book and read it. What they did was a best case scenario. They had a piece of private property called Area X that no one else besides researchers knew about and the property owners. It was about a 1.5 hour ride in the middle of goddamn nowhere into the woods, so cut off from any kind of potential human, disruption of the experiment. And then what they did was they had field teams that came in for a week at a time and then were subbed out at shift change by another team. So they would do this for stretches of 8 or 9 months where they were at the same place constantly waiting for things to happen. And sometimes nothing happened, but sometimes a lot of shit happened.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Area X is the site of the notorious Tag 7. So, one of the things that Nawak experimented with at Area X was the idea of deploying transmitters, trackers that could track the movement of a creature. What they did was they put it up high at 7 feet in the air on fishing line that would be loosely wrapped around trees so that a creature that tall walking through trees would catch onto the line and then carry it for a certain amount of time. A lot of these fell or got stuck to birds or shit and went way too fast to be an actual reading. But one tag 7, attached to something. And they tracked that something for about an 8-week period of time. And that something made really reasonable movements at a non-accelerated speed throughout this area of the Wichita Mountains. And it's fascinating, and it's absolutely worth a read. So highly, highly recommend Valley of the Apes, The Search for Sasquatch in Area X. For anybody that's Bigfoot curious, it's probably the best ongoing study for discovery of the species. That besides, the DNA Bigfoot project that we'll talk about happening over in North Carolina State.
When is the time frame? When did the tracker start? Like what year? Do we have a date or a year?
There's more details in the book. I didn't
Okay.
pull all the details for the sake of time, really, in this one.
Yeah.
But the Tag 7 stuff is super cool. And after the Tag 7, what Nawak actually did is they released the book, but they also released a scientific research paper on the tag and what they figured out from the tag. So you can find that as well. And the whole idea is that if you're going to make these claims, you have to have some really interesting evidence to back that up.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to start taking the evidence seriously. So what better way than submit it academically?
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
I will have all the links to this information in the show notes and also pictures on our Instagram from what we've talked about today. But
Thank you. Thank you. And before we wrap up, it's been a long time since I have given you 2 things. One, a statue of a cryptid. So, for that, I present to you Gas Squatch, which is in the little town of Idabel, Oklahoma. It is one of the world's largest Sasquatch statues, located at a gas station that also has a 24-hour cafe.
Gas Squatch?
Gas Squatch.
Oh my god.
Gas Squatch. And not only do I have Gas Squatch for you, by the way, you can also buy t-shirts and you can buy hats of Gas Squatch.
My god.
I just love watching your face.
It's literally just... That's... Okay.
We also have a song about Bigfoot. We have a Bigfoot song.
That is amazing.
So this song is called... Oh, no, we don't want a food advertisement. The song is Nobody Sees the Flowers But Me.
Okay.
From The Legend of Boggy Creek, 1972. So, listeners, I want you to pull this up on YouTube and take a good listen because this is the sound and the song sung by Sasquatch. and those quiet Sulphur River bottoms, all alone, deep in the woods. Hope you've enjoyed this talk about Bigfoot once again.
I loved it. This was
Casey,
great.
Believability scale.
Fuck, 5.
Is it because of the song and of Gasquatch, or
No, you had me at so I want to say I was probably at a 3, and then with the tracker, 5. What else? What else would it? What else could do that?
Yeah, not like that. Not like the data shows.
You know,
No.
like, yeah.
There was nothing else.
So yeah, definitely a 5. What are you gonna give it?
Oh, of course, a 5.
Okay. Yeah, 5. 5 out of
10
5.
out of 5.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, listeners, I would love to know what you rate this one. And I hope if you're a Bigfoot suspicious, we're solely pulling you over to the Bigfoot believer side. If you're a Bigfoot believer, then, drop us a comment. Let us know what your favorite Bigfoot story is. Just a reminder that we've got a couple more episodes in the Sasquatch series before we take you on to different cryptids. But thank you all for joining us on this journey.
All right, guys, you know where to find us at Field Notes from the Unknown on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. You know, the things, the places.
Find us in the places.
Find us in the places.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, I think that is it for us, and we will be back next Monday with another cryptid.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.